to Lament. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week edition of the program, we'll be focusing on workers in the electricity sector, some of the challenges they are faced with, and the proposed industrial action that they sent to the federal government and relevant stakeholders. We also have news stories for you. We will be right back.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
The retreat, organized by the Nigerian Labour Congress, brought together top labour leaders, including pioneer NLC National President Hassan Sumonu, former President Abdul Wahid Ibrahim, and Ayuba Wabba, as well as the incumbent President Joe Ajaero, to assess facilities and ongoing reforms aimed at strengthening public service delivery in Kebbi State.
Within 30 months, look at what we have done. We visited, a number of his projects yesterday evening and this morning. It's a record no other state governor has broken.
We are proud of him, and he is ours. And inshallah, 2027 we are going for him.
Presenting an award on behalf of the members, NLC President Joe Ajaero described Governor Idris as a comrade governor who has lived up to expectation and passed, emphasizing that diligence to duty remain critical to building a productive and efficient work, which has clearly shown in Kebbi State.
For some of us who come here often, we are seeing progress. Every 3 months you come in here, you notice another development. Every 3 months, another development.
Mr. President, on the behalf of the State Civil Service, please thank His Excellency on our behalf. And on our own part, the Civil Service, I'm assuring His Excellency you are over 25,000 and will deliver that vote to His Excellency.
Governor Nasser Idris described the gathering of the four past and present NLC presidents under one roof as historic and a show of strong solidarity for his administration, thanking them for always considering Kebbi a home.
I want to assure the leaders that by God's grace I will add more effort to deliver the dividend of democracy, not only for the workers of Kebbi State, for the generality of people of Kebbi State.
A night before, Governor Idris hosted an iftar dinner with union members alongside members of his cabinet. The delegation also visited the State Secretariat and Ambrosia School of Nursing, where they interacted with the workers.
The retirees carried placards with various inscriptions demanding their entitlement from the state government. The protest comes 3 years into Governor Ademola Adeleke's administration. The pensioners lamented that many of their members are frustrated, ailing, bedridden, and dying as a result of the non-payment of their entitlements.
Over the years, it had been a very bad experience. Since 2023, we have been asking our state government to please reason with us. Our people are dying. A lot of them are bedridden now. A lot of them are in frustrations and living a very hard life, so to say.
While acknowledging the quarterly payment of the backlog of half pensions owed by the administration of Rauf Aregbesola, the pensioners advocated the monthly payment of pensions by Governor Ademola Adeleke.
It has been 13 years plus that we exited from the service of our gratuity as still being paid in piecemeal, which has not been helpful because it is just being used to feed ourselves only without any tangible things done to show for the labor of 35 years.
They maintain that the alleged diversion of some funds released to the state by the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari contributed to the current plight of pensioners in the state.
This is a calling to Osun State people and stakeholders to wake up to stop and prevent Ogbeni Adesoji Aregbesola for coming to Osun State through his agent or prefix in the ADC in order to avoid him causing more havoc to the economy of the state and to spell further doom for workers and retirees and the good people of Osun State as he did during his regime.
The pensioners also refuted claims by the state government that contributory pension bonds from 2017 to 2025 have been cleared, insisting that only a limited number of retirees have benefited.
We're supposed to be the same citizen in the same country, and it's quite shocking when all of a sudden you hear some people are on band A and some other people are on band B, C, D, to whatever band they have. It shouldn't be in the first place, all right? So we all know that there's a huge chasm as far as the class cadre is concerned already, and finding that fire by putting people on different bands, is a little bit uncalled for. It gets me a lot peevish when I get back home and I'm supposed to go back home, listen to some news, watch TV, do some laundry, ironing and all that. But in the end, you don't get to have power supply. So how do you expect me to feel when the next building is reportedly or seemingly on band A? So I don't know the rationale behind that segregation in the first place. Let's go back to status quo, put everything back to the good old days. Let's all have the power supply that we were promised we were going to have.
Well, using band A, band B, band C depends on your own personal perspective. You might decide to live in an area that it's band A, and the main reason for you going to that band A, you yourself know it, because if you are the type that use electricity a lot, so I think band A is very, very much effective for you. But if you are the type that maybe you are not the one doing around, you usually be at home and all of a sudden you are using band A, it's just wastage of electricity. So I think that division is quite all right. I love it.
We are separating the lower class to the higher class, and people that is not up to that expectation, that is, you are telling them they are not part of the country, they are not part of the Nigeria, or they are not part of to have that same benefits that other people has benefited. Let me take it from my own area. We are on band C before, but suddenly they move us to band B without our notice, and we have been having issue of light, because according to, they said band A we have 24 electricity light, while band B we have 18 hours light. We were on band B now, we are not having 7 hours light, and presently now they have vandalized our cable. For going to 2 weeks now, we have not having light. We are being a black, and through this Ramadan and this Lent, Christian Lent, there is no light. And the issue of this band A, band B, band is totally not the solution to it. As an example now, Dual also work himself is using solar. So talking to the lower class, what make ASO work that are supposed to be using the main electricity is trying to be using solar. So definitely the light is not working. So they should just find a solution to it.
I stay on the island here, but I can confidently assert that there's a little improvement on our light. That is the only thing I can say for now. As I've said earlier, I wouldn't know whether my house is using band A, band B, band C, because it's not my house, of course. It's a rented house, so I wouldn't know the exactly band they are using. The government just needs to work more, because some people are still complaining that they don't have light for 1 week, they don't have light for 3 months, for 2 months. I don't know what is going on about that. But as I've said earlier, in my area where I stay, at least we still have lights. Not all the time, but as I've said earlier, there's a little improvement, and government can still do more.
I think it's just a matter of inefficiency and corruption. So, because of the corruption, they are not utilizing the money in the production and distribution of power supply in the nation. That's just it.
On the profile interview segment this week, I'll be speaking with the General Secretary of the National Union of Electricity Employees. It tells me it's important for the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the electricity sector, while emphasizing that the issue of privatization of the electricity sector has to be revisited. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you.
A lot has been happening in the electricity sector. Can you bring us up to speed on why the union decided to activate an industrial dispute between the workers and the government?
Everybody knows that privatization of the electricity sector was done in 2012. And from 2012 till now, there's no significant improvement in the sector. It's the same 4,000, 5,000 megawatts that we are generating during PACN that are still generating. There's no foreign direct investment that was brought in to the sector. The discos are not ready to take load, they're even rejecting loads. That's the bad part of it. And now they have done every Nigeria to class society now, where the rich gets 24 hours for 8 hours, while the poor gets 1 hour or for 1 week, which is not what electricity is the right to every citizen. Nigerians deserve to have light. Rather, we are paying for darkness. In the GENCOs, is the worst off. They don't allow unionization in the sector. From privatization up to now, the GENCO don't allow union members freedom of association. It's nothing to write about. People are suffering. They are in slavery. No promotion. If you talk, they sack you. So the Nigerians, the union, have been beckoning. I've written several letters to the Minister of Power, written to the Ministry of Labour on these issues. They are giving us deaf ears. The minister is showing unconcern. It feels that even the employers in the GENCOs are above the law. That's what it looks like. So this is the time for us to say enough is enough. We must take the bull by the horn. That's why we issue this ultimatum.
First, we know that when it comes to the welfare of workers, it's the priority of every union or association across the country, across the globe. What would you say is the welfare? How would you rate the welfare of an average worker in the electricity sector?
The average worker, I would say, is poor. I can't even say it's average. Bearing the fact that they have increased tariffs over 6 times now, worker salaries are still stagnant. The same salary, some of them are earning 70,000. Family men or women that have children, they have to pay bills. Some of them are even living in those band A's. We are the so-called band A's. How would they pay that tariff? So the problem is that if there's no significant increase in the salaries of the workers, won't be complaining. But their salaries are stagnant. Some of them, they give you 2%, 5%, 10%. That is runoff. In this economy, transportation alone, you know what it takes. High cost of petrol, electricity bill. This is all called for.
So what do you think needs to be done? How come the privatization has been ongoing for almost a decade now, and it has not impacted the life of an average worker in the energy sector?
Yes, it has not. But yeah, now every Nigerian has known now that privatization has failed. We are calling for review of the process of privatization. Take back. The government should take it back. It happens in other countries. In Uganda now, we have privatized over 20 years. But the government took it back because it didn't work. So we're asking for the take back of the ownership of this sector. Sit down and discuss the way forward. There's no the energy policy, energy plan. Nigerians buy transformers for themselves. In a community where the transformer is spoiled, if you wait for the disco, they won't repair it. It's the community that will contribute and buy the transformers. If they're faults, it's the community that will repair it. It's that bad.
So talking about policy, we are at that stage, or the world is at that stage whereby we're talking about a greener environment, energy transition. How prepared is an average electricity worker in Nigeria for this transition?
Yeah, just transition has come to stay. And everybody, what you need for you to transit. But the question I always ask, are you transiting from known to unknown? We don't even have enough. We are thinking of leaving gas to hydro. They can develop it. What we are looking for is effective energy mix. Where the turbines are working, where the solar farms will be on, even biogas. These are different channels of generating electricity. Then the workers must be trained to be at the top on the transition. Workers first. There's no transition, just transition without just social justice. It must be there. Transition is key, yes, but are we transiting to unknown to known? Are we ready for the transition? What are the plans the government are doing? What you see is the plan on paper, but in reality, nothing to show about it.
What will be your proposition to the federal government and relevant stakeholders as regards the just transition? Even though you said we should not move from what is known to the unknown, you've also said that there should be energy mix. In practical terms, what are you doing as a union? What do you think various stakeholders should do to ensure that there is a balance and we don't have workers that will be thrown out of work if they do not fit in to the system that is set to arrive?
The union is not against transition from greener energy, but what they're asking, does the job loss equal to the job gain? There must be a balance. The job loss, definitely there will be a job loss, but the job creation is equal or more than the job loss. So we need to sit down, the stakeholders sit down on the round table and discuss the way forward. It's not because certain power plants because I'm in power, I want to start in my village when there's no resources. It's like happened in Geregu and others. That's the problem there. You can decide, okay, in the north, let's do solar farms there. A lot of sun there. It can do coal. The European world developed with coal. Now they're telling us to develop with our own coal. You see the problem we have there? What do we do with abundance of coal here? But meanwhile, they're exporting coal to Europe. Lithium, we have a lot of abundant lithium in Kogi State. What are you planning to do with them? Rather, we export them, then bring back finished products. Do you have plans to, okay, let's even develop and manufacture lithium plants, batteries in Nigeria, so that it will reduce the cost. A poor man cannot do a solar panel. Its cost is much for.
So do you think that right now we should be having conferences, training and retraining? What are the practical things that can be done?
Training and retraining of members, creating of awareness of the transition. Workers should know what they're transiting from. The general public should know. The informal sector should be aware. There should be incentives. Okay, in Europe, if you generate, like I have a solar panel, I can generate 20 megawatts. If I have 10 megawatts as my own, the 10 megawatts, I sell it to the government. They buy it off from you. This will encourage people to even go into that. Because they know they will buy off and the government will pay them stipend for that. So it's a way of encouraging other people, the affluent that can go into it, to go about it.
Now that your union has once again issued an ultimatum to the federal government and relevant stakeholders, what do you think needs to be done to avert this impending strike? And what more can be done to ensure that Nigerians are not the ones that would suffer for the misunderstanding or the industrial disputes between the workers and the government?
We are all Nigerians. Whether you're working in the illicit sector, we are all Nigerians. We feel the bonds. So it's not like there's a light we get somewhere as a staff of a illicit company. No, but rather what we're asking that, let's sit down and discuss the way forward. What do we do to improve the sector? We are partners in progress. We don't want Nigerians to suffer. We have suffered enough. So what do we want to do? Why don't you respond to us? Bring in other stakeholders and let's discuss the way forward. What went wrong? How do we improve it? There should be a short-term, middle-term and long-term plan for the energy sector to move forward. What can you do in the short-term period? What can you do in the middle-term period? What can you do in the long-term period? Electricity that is not available cannot be affordable. That's just the truth.
From our conversation, you mentioned that the discos actually are not even ready to take more load. And we know that before now, even before privatization, it's still the same megawatt you're able to generate then that we are still generating now. It seems that there is no improvement. Why do you think they are in this situation? What needs to be done differently so that more Nigerians can have access to electricity?
The truth is that the discos make money by giving you estimated bills for the Nigerians. So if I'm supposed to take 200 megawatts, I say, no, give me 100 megawatts. And the other ones I spread it to people that don't have meter. First and foremost, Nigeria should be metered. All Nigerians should have access to meters. But if I have light, I pay for it. But estimated bills, they make more money for estimated bills. So they tell you, don't give me this 100 meters. Let me make do with 50 megawatts I have, so that I can give other people estimated bills. There, whether you use it, you don't use, every month there's a bill for you, and you must pay. But when you are metered, if you don't have light, my meter won't run. It's like going to filling station to buy fuel. If you pay, the meter runs. If there's no money, that meter won't run. It's a simple ideology. What is government doing? The free meter, some of them are not even going around. Yes, it's not even the duty of the government to give free meter. That's what it's supposed to do before privatization. That all Nigerians should be metered. All Nigerians should have access to electricity.
With your exposure, if every Nigerian has access to electricity, how do you think it will transform to national development or probably economic gains?
There's no country in this world that will develop without electricity. Are you going to reduce rural to urban migration? Because if you're in the rural area and you still have light, you can do your informal jobs. A barber can do his job, a tailor can do. The people that grind weather can do their job without going to the cities. But because there's no light, there's this massive migration from rural to urban areas, making it congestion. So if there's no country that will develop without electricity, that's the key thing that we can do. Without electricity, I know we are transiting from green energy. Can we get electric car vehicles? How will we power them when there's no light?
So how prepared is the NLC and NUI for this proposed strike action?
NLC is behind us. They are with us because we know the issues from day one. And NUI is enough. We are ready for the action.
So what do you think can be done to avert the impending action?
The only thing that can be done when we sit down and discuss. We are ready for negotiation. Call us to the night table and discuss issues. It can be resolved. But if they don't, then you have no other option than go ahead and do what you best know how to do.
You issued an ultimatum, and I remember very clearly that it's not the first time that the union will be calling for an industrial action. Can you tell us what was the reason why that industrial action was suspended then, and why are you reactivating the industrial action at this point?
Yeah, we have caused several industrial actions. We are suspended because of the intervention of some of the management. It may be in Disco, it may be in KJ Electric, it can be in Eko, it can be in Kaduna, and with the intervention of the management of this Disco. But then this action is both for generation, distribution, and transmission. So all the power sector as a whole. That's the action, because we have a lot of challenges in both all of them. So it's not just like a Disco or generation, but this one is for all the tiers of the power sector, the generation, transmission, and distribution.
Well, if I remember very clearly, some of these people that bought over the companies are supposed to buy it for a certain period of time. Can you bring us up to speed as the federal government reached out to the public towards ensuring that we have new people on board? Perhaps they're able to do the business better.
The issue in the Legislative Reform Act is supposed to be after 10 years there'll be a review, which government have not done. Rather, what you are seeing is because those investors borrowed money from the banks, and some banks are taking over because they are not paying. So that's why you see the change of management, not because they have not, there's a person review, but because of the loan they collected to buy the Discos, they are not paying. So the banks are taking it over.
So how sustainable is that? It's
not sustainable. Because one is making it feel, because as a banker should have his own manager. It can't be a banker to go into engineering firm companies. This is not just for anybody. It's for core special engineers. It must be have technical know-how and knowledge about the sector. So, but rather, the private sector are here for maximizing, that's profit maximization. Profit over people. What are part of what comes, how many billions that enters their coffers every month, in the detriment of Nigerians.
So what do you think the Minister for Power is supposed to be doing at this point? What do you think the federal government should do at this point to address this growing trend of financial institutions owning the assets of the country?
The Minister of Power and the federal government should call for the review of the whole privatization process and sit down with the private sector and the stakeholders and discuss. Even in the Senate, there was debate that they should review the process. But nothing happened because the government is the same, the buyers are the owners. same people in the government that bought it.
So how transparent can it be? What does it take for it to be a more transparent process?
The transparency in privatization process was a charade because what they promised was not there.
So how can this current administration fix it?
It depends on the will, the government will. If the presidency has that power, if he wants to, he can do it. If he wants to fix the sector, he's going to do it. You haven't said it before that if he doesn't have electricity, even Fashola, when he was Minister of Power, when he was campaigning before he became Minister, said that any government that does not give Nigeria 24-hour lights within 4 years should be voted out. Fashola did 4 years as the Minister of Power, and what happened? Nothing. He left. And this man is doing. That's nonchalant attitude there. How do you grow an economy without electricity? It's never done in any country.
Thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you so much.